work. And today we're going to leave Commodore 64 and Steam Machine. We're going to talk a little bit about movies. So if that's not a topic of interest to you, you might want to wait until I release another video of the topic of your choice. So I have been bullish on the concept of seeing Masters of the Universe because let's be honest, I'm an older guy and movies undergo a great number of scrutinies from me. As a movie viewer from the past, I really don't like CGI. And it's not because CGI is not a useful tool in telling stories, it's because CGI is often used extraordinarily sloppy. It bothers me that these movies that use heavy CGI don't appear to have physics consultants, right? How many times have you seen like the Hulk throw somebody or throw a car or something and you're looking at it and it looks like complete dog shit? That's what I'm talking about. You can make accurate physics, but it requires time, care, and effort, right? So I tend to stay away from pretty much all modern popcorn movies because they're lazy as hell with CGI. It looks like crap. And let's be honest, a lot of these movies are now CGI movies that happen to have live actors in them. So I tend to stay away because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to get upset. I don't want to rant. I don't want to see them take a beloved IP that I actually give a shit about and turn it into some CGI slop fest. I hate that. I hate it. So Masters of the Universe, when I saw the original trailer, I felt that weird connection. So let me tell you a little bit about my history with Masters of the Universe so you can compare it to your own and decide whether or not Masters of the Universe is going to be for you or not. So I watched the cartoon religiously as a kid, like probably many of you did. And let's be honest, this was a cartoon created for the sole purpose of selling toys to kids. It wasn't intended to be a real cartoon or a real show. It was a marketing vehicle to sell toys to children. And as such, right, as such, if you check the old cartoon out, you're going to see a lot of the early tropes like reuse of animation, all sorts of stuff that really sort of dated and give it that, I don't know, give it that weird, we didn't really care when we made the cartoon. And of course, because it was aimed for kids, there was a lot of time, for those of you who don't know, I'll just do a little background here. There was a lot of scrutiny on children's programming at the time that He-Man and the Masters of the Universe came out as a cartoon. So the way to get around, not adult themes, but more mature themes, like with G.I. Joe, right? That's war and soldiers. The way to get around it was to put a PSA at the end, or to somehow put an overarching positive message for children somewhere in the show. So, like at the end of the He-Man cartoons, Orko, the little flying purple dude, would come up and say, today Adam experienced this and blah, 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 and, would try to give you some sort of either an educational or responsible spin on it. So, yes, I watched Masters of the Universe. I'm sorry, He-Man. I'm going to just say He-Man when I'm talking about the cartoon and Masters of the Universe when I'm talking about the movie. So I watched He-Man a lot. I did not watch the anime versions of He-Man, although I did go back and check out a couple of episodes. I did watch the new Kevin Smith shows, and I know a lot of people don't like them. I thought they were fine. I liked parts of them. I didn't like other parts of them. It was okay. My son and I watched them together, so there's a little bit of spiritual connection there because it's something we shared sort of as a family. So that was kind of cool. Now, let's talk about Masters of the Universe. Now, I saw the original teaser, and I knew there's no way to make Eternia without a lot of CGI. And let's be honest, if you've watched pretty much anything in the last 10 years, CGI is so hit and miss, I just usually leave it alone. All right? So then the first trailer came out for Masters of the Universe. And I gotta admit, my heartstrings are being tugged because I love the property. And I'm thinking to myself, damn it, can I get through it? Can I get past the CGI? And I kept saying, I don't know, man, this isn't, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I just waited. I sat on it and I sat on it and I sat on it. Did not want to ruin what was otherwise a precious memory or an IP. Let's be honest. The other thing, too, that they do a lot of times when they rehash IPs or they take away your childhood is they throw their own little spins on it. They a lot of the more how do you want to say it? A lot of the YouTubers out there like to spin it as like woke or DEI or what do they call it? Social economics into these new movies. And yes, here's my problem. And it has nothing to do with race or creed or color or DEI or woke or anything. I don't like the source material monkeyed with. I don't like that. Now, whether or not it's race swapping, whether or not it's changing a storyline out, I'll give you one quick example because I don't want you guys to think that I'm one of these angry YouTubers that don't like it when Man-at-Arms gets switched for a black guy. That's not my problem. My problem is more like, so if you watch the original miniseries of The Stand, they swapped two characters. Actually, they combined and then swapped two characters. There was no reason to do that. That's monkeying with the source material that didn't need to happen. So I see the race swaps or whatever these guys have a huge problem with, not so much as being, oh, I don't like women, or I don't think women should be in a female-led role. No, I don't like it when the material's messed with. If you put a flat-chested woman in to play on Tomb Raider, Lara Croft on Tomb Raider, you're messing with the source material. Stop it. All right, so there's a lot of things in Masters of the Universe when you watch the original trailer that looked like it was messed with. Now, yes, Master-at-Arms, the guy that plays Master-at-Arms, I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head, that plays Man-at-Arms, he does a great job. He's a great actor, that guy. I like him a lot. I was okay that he got race swapped as Man-at-Arms. That was okay to me. It didn't bother. Now, they did insert a little, yeah, but his daughter's white. Okay, so a blended family's not unusual in 2026, but those are one of those little buttons that might piss people off, or just add a little bit to the annoyances. But let me get back because I want to finish this before I get to work. So when you're watching the trailer, you're saying, why is Tila wearing that outfit? That's not the outfit that Tila wears, right? Why isn't Tila a scorching, flaming redhead? Why isn't that the case, right? There's all these things that you're watching the trailer going, oh, come on, why? Why? So again, let it ride. Then another trailer comes out, and then some more scenes and clips come out. And I'm really starting to want to see the movie, but I'm going to need somebody to push me over the edge. Now, the guy that I trust online for movie reviews is a YouTube channel called Critical Drinker. He and I see eye to eye on a lot of things. So chances are likely that if he gives it a pass, or at least tells me the truth, not with some veil of, whatever, that maybe I'll be interested in seeing it. You think the Steam Deck is still worth it after the price hike? Let me address that if I can get through this review, because I want this to get done. So again, I'm really wanting to see it. Now, a leak of the film came out on the internet last week. It's apparently very watchable. Haven't seen it myself, but apparently it's watchable, but the audio's a little hanky. So a friend of mine, so Critical Drinker first gave it a decent review. He's like, yeah, it's a little long. There's a couple of little problems here and there, but overall, it was a good time. Now, when Critical Drinker signed off, I was ready to go see it. Now, the question was, am I going to watch a nasty bootleg from Pirate Bay, or am I going to go to the theater to see it? Now, the movie's not doing well in theaters. It's going to lose money. And at first it's like, good. Stop taking my IPs, do something fresh and new, and sit in your nasty little bed of remakes and rehashes. But then I said, you know what? What if this movie is good? Maybe the movie's decent, and by me not going to the theater, I'm not contributing to the overall growth of movies that deserve to be seen in the theater and deserve to be paid for. So, again, a friend of mine, Chris, watched the leaked copy and said, I think you'll like it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I got it. Critical Drinker says yes. My friends say yes. I'm going to go. So my son and I packed it up and we went to see Masters of the Universe yesterday afternoon. The short version. I liked it. I actually liked it quite a bit. Again, like Critical Drinker said, it's not without its problems, and I'm going to talk about those. But for those worried that they were going to screw with your IP, they don't. For those of you worried why Teela's not wearing her outfit, she does, right? If you're worried about Cringer being a CGI animal, they don't give him a lot of screen time, and it's obvious that they spent a lot of time making sure that Cringer wasn't screwed up, okay? It wasn't a nasty looking CGI animal, which apparently that disclosure day, the animals in that look like really bad CGI. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just relating because it's pertinent to what we're talking about. But yeah, Cringer does not look bad at all. I mean, you can tell he's CGI, but it is what it is. Now, I watched the first half of the movie under great scrutiny, watching to see how bad the CGI was. Now, here's the funny part about, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure how to explain this one. Masters of the Universe is sort of set in a period like that early 80s period where you just came off the wacky 70s. Do you remember Flash Gordon? Remember how freaking hokey as hell that was? The really bad green screens, but it had that Queen soundtrack behind it, and it was like all this, it was just campy as hell, but you loved it, right? You loved it. It was Flash Gordon, right? And so, like, the early 80s cartoons, look at, like, the Croft Super Show. Those guys must have been on weed 24/7 to come up with that stuff. So everything's a little, right? So you actually expect an IP set from that time frame to kind of be a little hokey. It works, it lends itself in favor of being able to take chances and risks inside the show. So let me address a couple of things you've probably heard of. There's too much time on Earth before it gets to the good stuff, right? Not true. It actually opens on Eternia. I did not know that. Nobody bothered to tell me that. So the first opening minutes of the movie are actually set on Eternia. You don't have to wait to get any action. That's very smart of them. Then you go to Earth. They actually do it in a decent manner. And honestly, the part on Earth isn't a waste. I don't want to give any spoilers, but that segment on Earth looks goofy. It's definitely tongue-in-cheek, and it's pointing fun at the problems that these moviegoers talk about, not supporting them. The whole he-him thing, and you look at that and you go, oh, God, here we go. No. It's all part of the plot. It's necessary to make the gags work later. So keep that in mind. And it's not that long. And part of the time on Earth actually has Eternia characters in it. So it's like, I don't know what everybody was so upset about the Earth part, but whatever. The other part was, what about the physics, right? Again, this is a personal problem. I own it. The physics are really good, right? Whenever you have CGI in great quantity, the physics are always in question. Yes, there's a few times when the physics go wonky. Somebody was asleep at the QC wheel, whatever. Yes, but for the most part, I was not offended, which, listen, if anybody who knows me knows, I am watching that with a scrutiny that is beyond no other. So there you go. So that's good. The jokes, the yucks, the quips, they're not wrong. There are great moments in the film that should have been left without a tension breaker quip. There's a lot of those. I would remove 30 to 40% of them. And here's the funny part. Most of them feel tacked on. I'm going to give you one example. It's not a spoiler, but just so you get the idea. So there's a moment between Man-at-Arms and Teela. Nice, tender moment, father-daughter moment. You know, they're overcoming some of their perceptions of each other, and they're having that sort of an emotional moment together. And then, you're kind of enjoying this. It's like, yeah, that's nice. And then all of a sudden, Adam comes over and like throws his arms around him going, oh, guys, that was so sweet. I love that. It's like, dude, come on. Why did we didn't need to ruin that one. They do it all through the movie anyway. So yeah, we could have gotten a few less on the quip side. Yeah, okay. I don't think they were necessary. But again, it wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. So it wasn't like MCU humor. It was just overindulged a little bit. All right. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else that needs to be covered in terms of the common negatives. Is it too long? It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's too long, right? Honestly, though, I wasn't bored. Now, I've always said that if you can keep me entertained, I don't give a shit how long a movie is. I would actually apply that to this. Now, it's not how long it is that's the problem. It's some of the pacing, right? So there's moments where the movie sort of drags to a halt so that they can get some expository stuff in there, a little exposition. But for the most part, I was entertained. And as long as I'm entertained, you can keep me there for 3 or 4 hours. I'm good. I didn't need to pee, right? Everything was fine. So the movie length wasn't the problem. They could have tightened up 10 to 15 minutes of it, and it would have been a tighter, better paced movie. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So let me talk about the movie as a movie, not as a critical deconstruction of its parts. I liked it. I liked the principle. I liked the plot. I liked the characters. I really did. I liked the ancillary characters got screen time. The ancillary characters, they gave an opportunity for those characters to thrive a little bit, which is probably why the pacing was a little off, right? And that's okay. I mean, again, I would rather have character development with some pacing problems than to have everything look completely two-dimensional. But remember, this is a children's cartoon designed to sell children's toys. You gotta give it a lot of latitude. But oddly enough, there's enough plot to get you from A to B, and at the same time, it's a decent story. It's no Academy Award winner. It's not gonna make the trades, and it's obviously not making a ton of money. But it's an enjoyable ride. The IP is respected. This is the important part. This is probably why you're still here if you're here. Do they screw with He-Man? Do they make him a little bitch? Is Tila the real star? Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea, right? This is what people complain about. No, Adam's the star. Tila is around to help, and that's it. I mean, and that's the cartoon, man. That's what they did in the cartoon. So if you're good with what they did in the cartoon, you're going to be good with what they do here. What about the fight scenes, right? For me, one of the other reasons I stopped watching modern movies overall is they don't know how to shoot a fight scene. Plain and simple. Did you see Dark Knight Begins, the Christopher Nolan Batman, Christian Bale movie? That's good, right? Everyone loves that. That's universally, like, if you say, what's your favorite Batman? Half the time people say, it's Batman Begins. Why? Because it doesn't disrespect you. But the reason I don't like that movie is because I know Christian Bale can do great action scenes. Have you ever seen Equilibrium? If you haven't, shut this show off and go watch Equilibrium. There's nothing else there's nothing more important that you should do today than to watch Equilibrium. But I know Christian Bale can do those scenes. I know that his talents went to great waste by the way that they shot those scenes for Batman Begins. Makes me mental. And you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the quick camera cuts. I'm talking about never actually letting you see the fight. That's what I was worried about with He-Man, or with Masters of the Universe. Because let's be honest, it came from a kid's cartoon that had a PSA at the end to make sure they didn't scare children, right? That they didn't offend children, that they had some redeeming social quality. Guess what? People die in Masters of the Universe. People get stabbed and bludgeoned. There's no Mortal Kombat blood going on here. But for a cartoon where nobody was allowed to be killed in it, there's a lot of killing going on. There's a lot of violence going on. And quite frankly, I'm very pleased that that's the case because that's what I want to see in my movie. The fight scenes are well done. They are not camera pulls. They are not jitter cameras. They are not that goofy shit that for some reason they thought they needed to do for all of these more modern action movies. So the fight scenes are good. I'm impressed. Maybe a little slight Mortal Kombat feel in there, right? When you get a character that's got spikes on his back being uppercut into the ceiling and he sticks there, that's pretty cool, right? So yeah, I'm obviously at work and I do have to wrap this up. I do want to answer the Steam Deck question though. You need to go to the theater to see Masters of the Universe as soon as possible. Not because it's the greatest movie of all time, but because it doesn't suck. It's actually pretty good. And it breaks my heart to see really shitty movies make a boatload of money when movies like this that actually probably deserve to have a sequel, to have a TV show, or to get some level of love for them, they go unheard. So here's what you need to do. Pack up the family. Go see Masters of the Universe before it leaves theaters, which is going to be soon. I don't think it'll survive Father's Day. I think after Father's Day, it's gone, right? They're going to use that one last holiday to tap in and say, have you taken Dad to see Masters of the Universe lately? Yeah, that's it. And then it's over. Then it's going to be gone. Yes, you could wait for streaming. Yes, you could wait for Blu-ray or 4K. I've already ordered my 4K. That's how much I liked it. I actually pre-ordered the physical media copy. So there you go. Go see it. Give it some money. Let people know. Let the company know that you want to see more. Let them know that that you're willing to reward something that doesn't crap all over your IP, that pays attention and is respectful of you, your time, your money, and your childhood. Frankly, I think that's the most important thing to take away from this review is go see it. Go give it some money. If you're not going to go to the theater, maybe you're one of those introverts that just can't go to the theater. I get it. Buy it on disc. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I don't care. Buy it on disc. Make the show some money. Make the movie some money. They're not making any money on streaming, folks. So I'll just watch it on Netflix. I'll watch it on Amazon Prime. That's my contribution. No, fuck that. Go spend some money on it. I think you should go to the theater. It's a theater movie. It's a big screen popcorn summer theater movie. Go see it in the theater. If you got a great home theater system at home, I get it. Get the Blu-ray, right? But throw some money. I recommend it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Go see it. Again, not without its problems, but now you know the problems going in. So, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's a great cameo. There's great post-end scene credits. And there are some hat tips that only the most loving He-Man fans would get. Those were there for you and for me. And I got it, and I was laughing my ass off in the theater when I saw it. My son looked at me like, what the hell is so funny? I'm not in on the joke, Dad. What's going on? And I had to explain it to him, which sucks. Steam Deck, is it worth the money to pay like $800, $900? No, you got to wait. Either wait till things come down, pick up a used one, which is always an okay thing. We need to see, at least wait a couple of weeks until we see what the Steam machine pricing is going to be. I don't want a Steam machine. I want a handheld. Yeah, I got it. We need to understand what Valve's up to with the price hikes. Is the price hike there to sell Steam machines? If so, the price is going to come down. You need to wait. If not, we need to see what SteamOS does with the other handhelds that are going on. Because honestly, here's the thing. And I got a video like sitting here waiting for me to release about what's going on with Steam Machine. You'll want to see that. So if you're not subscribing, you just happen to wander here by accident, go subscribe. Make sure you're going to see that. Hopefully in the next day or two, I can get that done. Valve could be playing with Steam Deck pricing to make the Steam Machine more palatable. So we need to see what happens. My guess is, I know why Steam did it. I know why Valve increased the price. Why they increased it so much, that's the wild card. That's the card that they can play with to bring it back down. I will tell you, one of the things that you'll hear in that Steam Machine video is first-party valve support is usually worth it. You go buy a Legion Go S, you go buy a ROG Ally, outside of the fact that the joysticks suck on the ROG Ally. For whatever reason, you buy something else that's cheaper, right? I get it. Money's tight for everybody. You buy something cheaper, you're going to run Windows, which sucks. You shouldn't, I mean, gross. But no, Steam OS is available for... Yeah, but it is the second or third hand, right, version of Steam OS. Yes, Valve is very interested in continuing to build Steam OS to be workable on a variety of handhelds. It's not quite there yet. And if you ask anybody who owns a Steam OS driven handheld that's not a Steam Deck, they'll tell you it's pretty good, but hibernation sucks, but this doesn't work, but that doesn't work, but this could be better. And that's what you're paying for. You're paying for first party Valve support and Valve upgrades and Valve Care and all that. So is it worth $900 for a Steam Deck? Absolutely not. But don't run out and buy anything else. Not just yet. The next few weeks are going to answer a lot of questions. That's when I will come back and I will actually do a video that says, is it still worth it? And I'll have a better reason why I say that. So listen, I got to get into work. I hope you enjoyed this. Please go see Masters of the Universe. Give it some money. Let it make a little bit of money. It doesn't suck. It doesn't screw with your childhood. It checks the right boxes, so please do that. All right, that's it for me. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.